5 players to stay away from. Those guys you got to go get. These are 5 players you need to stay away from in your 2025 draft. Now, one thing I do want to say, maybe you're not the biggest fantasy baseball person, maybe you don't play, but really, if you're listening, these are just essentially guys I think will have a really good year and guys that I think might not have such a good year. And then maybe for the sleepers, these rookies that might have a good year or guys that had a down year that might have a good year. So if you're listening, you're not a huge fantasy baseball person, doesn't really matter. Like, still some good stuff in here ahead of the season. 5 players to stay away from. At number 5, this one's going to surprise some people. We're starting with a bang. At number 5, Juan Soto. Juan Soto's ADP is 6. He's going around 6th in drafts. Obviously, Juan Soto is a top player in the game of baseball. I would say Juan Soto is a top 5 player in the game of baseball. He's entering his prime. He's continuing to get better. Everything you want. I am not even saying Juan Soto isn't one of the best players in baseball. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it wasn't worth his $700 million that he got from the New York Mets. But what I am saying is I'm not drafting him 6th in my fantasy baseball draft. Here's why. A career high 41 homers last year. Juan Soto's not a power hitter per se, and he's not in Yankee Stadium anymore. Yankee Stadium has the 3rd best park factor for home runs for a left-handed hitter. Citi Field, where he now plays, is 21st. So he's gone from one of the best places to hit homers for a lefty to one of the worst places to hit homers for a lefty. He's a 4-category guy. He's not going to steal you bases. And when it comes to my first-round pick, in a perfect world, I would love somebody that can do it all. Gonna hit for power, gonna steal bases, gonna hit for a high average. There's not many of those guys, right? We're talking a very limited number of players. We're talking the Bobby Witt Jr.'s, Shohei Ohtani's, Jose Ramirez, Ellie De La Cruz, Aaron Judge is at that top just because of how good he is offensively. But when it comes to Juan Soto, I don't think I'm drafting him 6th. He's not elite when it comes to batting average. It's not like he's going to win you your batting average category. I think when people think Juan Soto, you would say, oh, he's going to hit you over 300 every year. He's going to hit you a bunch of homers, and his OPS is going to be through the roof. His OPS is going to be through the roof. I expect him to hit 30-plus homers, low to mid-30s, I would think. I don't know if we're going to see 41 again. And his batting average last year was 288. Which was 25th in baseball. So at number 5, I'm going Juan Soto, who is being drafted around 6th or 7th in fantasy leagues. And I just don't think I'm drafting Juan Soto in the first round because he's not winning you every category. And I think there's better players to draft around that position. So Juan Soto, top 5 player in the game of baseball, not a top 7 pick in your fantasy baseball draft this year. I would stay away unless he falls to maybe 9, 10, 11, 12 in that range. At number 4, I'm going to go Marcus Semien, whose ADP is 65. Here's why. It took him 718 plate appearances last year to record 23 homers and 8 steals. His bat speed fell into the 10th percentile last year at 33 years old, had a WRC plus of 99, which ranks outside of the top 100 for qualified hitters. 34 years old, he'll continue to run less and less, in my opinion. Bruce Bochy, manager, said he plans on resting him a bit more. Look, he deserves a lot of credit, and he's a guy you want to have on your team for so long because he's going to play every single game. Over 700 plate appearances, multiple times. But he does plan on resting him a bit more now that he's 34 years old. His bat speed has fallen. When it comes to ADP of 65, I'm not drafting Marcus Semien right there. Let's move on to number 3. At number 3, players to stay away from, I'm going Bryan Reynolds. Bryan Reynolds, ADP of 78. This is a guy that has a very safe floor. 24 homers last year, 73 runs scored, 10 stolen bases, and a career high 692 at bats. He's in a bad offense with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's a safe floor. You can expect probably around those same numbers. But I'm taking guys with way more upside in the top 100 than Bryan Reynolds around the 78 mark. I think there's plenty of guys ahead of him and after him in drafts that could win you a league. Bryan Reynolds ain't going to win you a league. You just kind of know what you're getting with him, and it's good, not exceptional numbers. And around there, I feel like you can certainly get guys that are going to win you your league. Bryan Reynolds isn't one of them. So I'm staying away around pick 78 for him. At number 2, Freddie Freeman. Now, this one's maybe a bit of a surprise as well because give me Dodgers on my team, right? Give me Dodgers. I want guys in that lineup. I want guys in that rotation. Freddie Freeman, a guy that's hitting smack dab in the middle of that lineup. Why am I staying away? Well, one, his ADP's around 23. So right around, he's going around the top 20 pick. He didn't play in the Tokyo series. I have big concerns there when it comes to that rib discomfort that kept him out, which we saw last year in the postseason, and his ankle, which he got off-season surgery on. Dave Roberts has said they're going to manage him and manage those injuries over the first half after that off-season surgery. A notable decline in bat speed last year, 20th percentile. He has look, don't get me wrong, obviously, a very, very nice floor when it comes to batting average help, obviously in the middle of a very good lineup, but he hasn't hit 30 homers since joining the Dodgers. He won't steal as many bases this year with the injuries. I can't draft Freddie Freeman around the 20 mark. I have my concerns with injuries, with nagging injuries. I have my concern. Freddie Freeman's always been a guy that's going to play 160 or more games at first base. That's not going to happen this year. I have my concerns about those injuries, about those nagging injuries. I have concerns about the declining bat speed with his age. I don't have concerns that he's going to hit for a high batting average. I don't have concerns that he's definitely going to hit you some homers and get you a boatload of RBIs. But around that 20 mark, I have enough concerns to pass on him until maybe the late 20s to 30 range, which I don't believe he's going to fall there. I like Freddie Freeman a lot, but I don't believe at an ADP of 23 that I'm going to be drafting him right there. Which leads me to number 1. My number 1 player to stay away from is going to be Ketel Marte, an ADP of right around 25. Marte was incredible in 2024. Potentially won a lot of people, a lot of leagues. And this is a guy I like a lot. I like Ketel Marte a lot. He's a switch hitter, can hit for power. He can do a lot. He had a 151 WRC plus last year, which was top 10 in all of baseball. But he's a career 118 WRC plus guy, and I expect him to come back to earth a good bit. He's due for regression. He was last year outside of the top 100 picks, and all of a sudden a really, really good year. He's going around 25. He's now 31 years old. I think he's due for a bit of a regression to the mean. I'm just not taking him right around that spot. Also, injury concerns with him. He's missed an average of 34 games for the last 4 seasons. All of those things, injury concerns, regression to the mean, an outlier. I don't want to even say outlier of a year. You can expect him to get better. He's 31. Maybe from his career averages, he did figure things out. But did he figure things out enough to go from a 118 WRC plus, which is 18% better than the average hitter in Major League Baseball, to 151, which is top 10 in baseball? I don't know. I just don't think I can justify drafting him that high in leagues. So my 5 players to stay away from in 2025 fantasy drafts are Juan Soto in the first round, Marcus Semien, Bryan Reynolds, Freddie Freeman, and Ketel Marte at number 1.